Hey there, scientists. Today we are talking erosion and deposition. Your goal today is you can recognize how erosion and deposition of sediment can shape and change the land. So we can look at this image right here in front of us and we can ask, how was this land shaped and changed? Well, right away when I'm looking at it, I can say, man, how did those rocks get there? And what do you think might have moved these rocks to this big open field? And I might be asking myself, why is there trees over here, all rocks everywhere else, and there's no trees mixed into the area where I see all of these boulders? Well, long ago on what is now Deer Isle, Maine, huge moving masses of ice carried these boulders far away. When the ice melted, the boulders were left in a new place. So yeah, it was all because of glaciers, and these would be called glacier erratics that were dropped by a glacier or left when a glacier receded. And that is how they ended up getting to this point. And so we now know that something here changed and shaped the land. In this case, it sounds like it was a glacier. So our focus here as we go forward is to recognize how erosion and deposition of sediment can shape and change the land. Weathering produces sediment. Sediment is loose material. It can be large boulders or tiny grains of sand. What happens to these weathered pieces of rock? Often they are moved to a new place. The moving of sediment from one place to another is the second step in the process, erosion. Wind, water, ice, living things, and gravity all can move sediment from one place to another. What happens to the sediment that is carried away? It is deposited or dropped in a new place. This action is another process called deposition. Moving water can deposit pebbles and sand downstream, or wind can deposit sand on a beach to form a sand dune. Together, the three processes of weathering, erosion, and deposition can shape and change the land. So, what happens to the sediment after it forms? After the sediment is formed, the sediment is loose material, it starts moving. The sediment is moved to a new place. What is the process of moving a sediment from one place to another? The moving of sediment from one place to another is erosion. And what causes erosion? Wind, water, ice, living things, and gravity can all move sediment from one place to another. So, wind, water, ice, and living things and gravity all cause erosion. And erosion can shape and change the land by removing sand, rocks, and other sediment from one place and taking them to other places. So if erosion is the second step, weathering is the first, erosion is the second, what is the third step again? Deposition. And when does deposition of sediment take place? Deposition of the sediment takes place when the wind, the water, or the ice slows down or stops. So when the moving water stops moving and it deposits the pebbles and sand downstream, that is deposition. When the wind stops blowing and can deposit the sand on the beach to form a sand dune, that is deposition. So, how did ice change the land here? Well, huge moving masses of ice picked up the sediments, these giant rocks, and carried them along. The sediments were left in a new place. They were deposited here when the ice melted. Moving forward today, you are going to work and you are going to have to determine if some of the images you are looking at and sorting are images of erosion or deposition. Are things being dropped and that is how they are left? Or is the wind, the water, the ice, the gravity, is it moving the things? Is it the erosion? So you're going to have to be a scientist, look critically and carefully, determine whether you're looking at an image of deposition or an image of erosion. And then you're going to have to draw a conclusion about erosion and deposition. Why does erosion occur before deposition? You need to come up with a conclusion of why erosion happens before deposition. Because when it's all said and done today, scientists, you're saying that you can recognize how erosion and deposition of sediment can shape and change the land. Good luck, scientists.